I, 31 female, recently lost my fiance, 37 male, Jake. We'd been together for 6 years. At the funeral, which I arranged and paid for, his brother, 32, Jim, asked me when I would return the engagement ring to the family. For context, the engagement ring Jake proposed with is an ancient family heirloom. It's a gorgeous ring, but what makes it priceless is the story behind it. Jake got the ring from his grandma a month after we started dating. He claimed he knew back then that he would marry me someday and wanted to get his grandma's blessings on the ring. When he proposed, his grandma had already passed away, so having the blessings put on the ring made it extra special for both of us. I asked Jim if he was serious, to which he said yes. Apparently, his long-term girlfriend Stacy saw the ring a while ago and fell in love with it and its story, so she kept nagging him to get her something similar, which he couldn't. So he figured since I can no longer marry Jake, he could propose to Stacy with it. I told him that he was rude, that the ring was blessed especially for Jake and me in mind, and even if that wasn't the case, bringing it up during Jake's funeral is incredibly disrespectful. After the funeral, I got a message from Stacy saying it would mean the world for her to be the new owner of the ring, and I could always think of her and Jim's wedding as the bittersweet ending to my relationship. She said the ring was blessed, so one of the grandsons can marry the love of his life, and since Jim is the only living grandson left, he has a claim to it. I blocked her. My ex-mother-in-law also reached out to me and said that although she understands my pain, I can't keep the ring since it's a family heirloom, so I should suck it up and give it to Jim. I snapped and told her no. The ring is staying with me and following me to the grave if need be. It's a beautiful symbol of Jake's love, and I won't let Jim and Stacy sully that memory of him. The ring is legally mine, so all they can do is cry about it and be bitter. They keep harassing me on social media, saying I'm a bad person and that I stole the family heirloom to spite Jim and Stacy out of jealousy, but I ignore them. Today I met up with my brother, and he said that although Jim's approach was highly inappropriate, I'm being selfish for keeping the ring for a keepsake. I could always wear different jewelry that Jake brought me in his memory, but they could never replace an heirloom that's been in their family for generations. I'm now back home, and I can't stop thinking about it. Up until this point, I was sure I did everything right, but maybe I'm just being blinded by my grief. A friend suggested I ask for an objective opinion and recommended this place. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. You were family enough to pay for the funeral. You were family enough to have the grandmother's blessing. You were family enough to your partner. The ring is yours, OP. The memory is yours. Gift it to someone whose love you want to bless if you choose. Otherwise, do what makes you happy. Bittersweet ending. How entitled she is to think her marriage would ease the pain of losing your fiance. Screw her, she's disgusting. What if your fiance had not passed? Was she going to demand it once you got married? I would have a plan of a safe place to keep the ring if she wants it that bad. Theft may happen. That was horrifically inappropriate and cold-hearted. So, in the middle of a funeral, I feel like I can't stress this enough. The brother demanded the ring back, and now over many days or weeks of grieving, several people are harassing OP for this ring. The ring that was given to her by her fiance, which again was given by the grandmother. Not the idiot, OP. Please just block them all. Everyone's the idiot here. The ring is a family heirloom, passed down generation after generation. The ring was blessed with the intent of marriage and being part of that family. If you were to have kids with Jake, it would have been passed down to them. But due to these unfortunate circumstances, neither will happen. Therefore, the ring should be returned to the family, but you should be able to return the ring whenever you're ready. They don't want it back because it's a family heirloom. They want it back because Stacy is shallow and Jim can't spend the money. If he could buy the same ring, they wouldn't care, but are using the family nonsense to manipulate you. Tacky and disgusting. I can't possibly imagine asking someone who lost their husband for the engagement ring back. My 32 female, daughter Isabella, young teen, has a diary that was given to her last year by me. It was so that she could write how she felt. I never went into it because it's hers, and I told her father, Jake, that he couldn't go into it either, unless it's something dire. Another thing is that Isabella has wanted a new phone since last month, and I told her if she could make enough money to pay off half of what's left on the current phone, I'd get her the one she wants. Last week, Jake's girlfriend, Naz, 35, went through the diary after she left it at her dad's house. In the diary, Isabella wrote how she feels that she's losing her dad to Naz's kids. Apparently, that hurt Naz's feelings, and she brought it up to Jake. Jake thinks that Isabella is making him look bad and is purposely trying to hurt Naz. I told him that he should feel more focused on making Isabella feel less like she's losing her dad, instead of how Naz feels about something she wasn't even supposed to see. I told him that she's entitled to feel that way, and it isn't her fault. He told me I should at least punish her for not telling him and bad-mouthing Naz in her diary. Jake said that she shouldn't be able to get the phone. I told him that he was missing the point and he's only focusing on how Naz feels, and that I'll still get her the phone when I promised it to her, and she's been saving up in hopes for it. Jake said that what I'm doing now is ruining how we co-parent, and that we're supposed to be united in punishments for Isabella. A grown woman decided to breach a teen girl's privacy by reading her diary and is upset because she didn't like what she read? Naz is the one damaging the co-parenting and owes Isabella an apology for violating her privacy by reading the diary and then sharing the content. Isabella hasn't done anything wrong, and you are not the idiot. Get her the phone. That woman was wholly out of line to read her diary. What a manipulative move to position herself as the victim. I feel for your daughter. I don't know why he's complaining about co-parenting when you're the only one parenting here. He should be talking seriously to his new wife about how it's not okay to go through his daughter's diary and about how together they can make his daughter feel more welcomed and integrated. You never punish a child for legitimate feelings, especially ones they keep private. Jake is an idiot and is failing as a parent. Naz is a poor, abusive, sneaky, invasive, self-centered excuse for a human being, and she should be ashamed of herself. She's not even his wife, she's his girlfriend. They're not even married. The ex only dates this woman, who dared to go through the daughter's diary. Despicable. But I've got news for Jake. If Naz went through his daughter's diary, she's gonna go through his phone and his credit card receipts. Purposefully trying to hurt Naz by writing somewhere Naz had no right or need to be looking? I don't know which of them is worse. What is she being punished for? Feeling like she's losing closeness with her father? It's wildly unsurprising to me that the person who completely trampled your daughter's boundaries by stealing and reading her diary is also the person your daughter was venting about in her diary. So the only person facing repercussions here should be Naz. My 34 female brother Jack, 36, married my sister-in-law Amy, 27, about 2 years ago. One thing you need to know about Amy and me is that we're polar opposites. I'm very much an honest, blunt, tell it like it is gal. On the other hand, Amy is cheery, doesn't want to hurt anyone's feelings, and is a sensitive type of person. Amy's a preschool teacher and has been for about 2 years. I, on the other hand, am a NICU nurse. I work long hours, often overtime, and have to nurse the tiniest of humans back to health. It's stressful, but I still prefer to be an ER nurse, which is what I worked as until about 5 years ago. My being blunt with my overly sensitive patients was a no-go. I like my job, but it requires every type of skill in the book. On Friday, I was invited to Jack and Amy's house for dinner. After dinner, we decided that we wanted to watch a movie. Jack had told us to pick something out and that he would take a shower and be back in a few minutes, but not to start the movie without him. However, Jack had left the remote on the TV stand instead of giving it to one of us, and we were already sitting on separate chairs, and this is where this issue started. Amy asked me if I could get the remote. I replied that she was the one that was seated closer to the TV stand. Amy said that her feet hurt. I said mine did too. Amy said that she had been on her feet all day. I said that I was on my feet all day as well. Amy said that she was running around looking after kids. I replied that I had been running around trying to nurse newborn babies back to health. Amy whined and asked me if I could just get up and get the remote because she had a grueling day. I replied that we both knew that if anyone had a more grueling day, it was me. Amy reinstated that we both have hard jobs. I told Amy that when it comes to the difficulty of our careers, educating kids and healing kids are on many different levels, and that I could do her job, but she wouldn't be able to last a day in my shoes. Amy became defensive and upset and asked if I was trying to insult her. I said no, but instead, I was just stating the obvious. Plus, she was the one who wanted to compare who had a harder day in the first place. Finally, Amy told me to forget about the movie and that I should leave. I tried to get her to change her mind, but she wasn't having it. Jack walked in as we were arguing, and seeing how upset Amy was in this situation, he agreed I should leave. Now Amy hasn't been answering my calls. Finally, I got a hold of Jack, and he called me an insensitive idiot for hurting Amy, insulting her intelligence, and downplaying the difficulty of her job. I tried to explain myself, but he hung up on me. Am I the idiot? I just gave her a hard truth about the reality of the differences between her job and mine, but maybe I could have been nicer about it. You couldn't cut it as an ER nurse, so you had to transfer somewhere where the patients couldn't understand that their nurse was an idiot. You sound like you weren't good at being a nurse, so let's start there. You are the idiot, OP. For real, this can't be glossed over. If I'm going to the ER, it's probably something serious, and I don't really feel that I need to lay in bed and take harsh judgments while I'm in agonizing pain. And OP calls that overly sensitive? ER nurses are typically the least friendly nurses around, and OP couldn't even be nice enough to work in the ER. I don't understand how they're allowed to work with patients. You are the idiot. Honestly, I probably didn't have to read beyond I'm very much an honest, blunt, tell it like it is gal to get to that decision, because people who say that are always an idiot at the end of the day. You two are fighting over remote control. Ironic, since you both work with children, that you were acting like children. But Amy acknowledged you both had hard jobs in different ways. You dismissed her completely. And to be honest, given your personality alone, I don't think you could handle being a preschool teacher, running around and wrangling dozens of children. How often do you need to be kicked out before you get the message that you need to work on yourself? This behavior made you a bad nurse, and you were asked to work elsewhere. This behavior made you a bad guest and a bad sister-in-law, and you were asked to leave. With you admitting both of these so freely, I have to assume this pattern is also played out in other contexts. Newsflash, you're the problem. I, male 26, was put in a new position in the company that requires me to go out with other coworkers to meet up with clients on locations. So we have this coworker, Nancy, the team's newest member. She keeps to herself and doesn't talk much besides the work stuff. Yesterday we were out working, and Nancy arrived 10 minutes later. She said her son was sick, and that's why she was late. She didn't want to eat on lunch break, and she didn't bring anything, so we invited her and offered some snacks. I noticed that she had her sunglasses on the entire time. Yes, we were outside, but she never took them off. I looked at the sunglasses, and it dawned on me that they were a brand made for men. I didn't know if she knew and whether she intended on wearing them, so I casually pointed it out to her and told her that she was wearing men's sunglasses. She looked at me and asked, "So what?" I said I figured maybe she didn't notice, but it was obvious to everyone else that she was wearing men's sunglasses this entire time. My coworker started laughing, and Nancy suddenly got up from her seat and excused herself. My female coworker side-eyed me, then said that Nancy was concerned for her sick kid, and there was no reason for me to be fixated on her sunglasses and humiliate her in front of everyone. I said I was just letting her know, but she said that it really was none of my concern, and I overstepped. So I told her that I casually just brought it up without any bad intentions, but I was told I needed to apologize to Nancy later, which I didn't because I don't think I said something out of line or overstepping. I was just talking about the sunglasses since I know these brands. Besides that, if I didn't point this out to her, someone else would have. My male coworkers thought that Nancy was being too sensitive, and I was good and didn't need to apologize. But they could be biased, since they always side with me in all of my arguments. So I'm leaving this to you folks. You are the idiot. OP, what did you expect her to do? Jump up and yell, "Oh my God, men's? Men's? Thank you for saving me, OP. I can't believe I wore men's sunglasses and didn't know it. Oh my God, get them off of me." 'Cause I feel like you were expecting at least a little of that, with a side of gratitude, and I can't figure out why. Aw, poor old P was just trying to let the nice lady know her femininity was being compromised. What a hero. There is no such thing as men's or women's sunglasses. There's only gendered marketing. Idiot. In addition to that, it was none of your business. Maybe none of the women's styles were ones she liked. Maybe none of them fit her. Maybe they were her husband's. And once again, it's none of your bloody business. And stop bullying people at work. Unless there's a dress code that you're responsible for enforcing, pointing out people's attire is an idiot move. You need to apologize. Ugh, for goodness sake, who cares? They're sunglasses. Men and women both have eyes. That's such a petty little thing. Do you think everyone is as fixated on gender-specific eyewear as you are? Do you think she should have been embarrassed about it? Maybe she picked those glasses because she liked them. Maybe she couldn't find hers and grabbed her husband's. Maybe she was more concerned about her sick child than adhering to your ideas about gender conformity. I'm more concerned she was hiding red eyes from crying or a black eye, and you went and made her upset by causing everyone to give her more attention. I'm a teen female living with my mom, stepdad, and younger half-siblings. My dad died 9 years ago, and my mom married Dave 6 years ago. My half-siblings are a preteen female, a young male child, a female kindergartner, and a male toddler. My mom and Dave call him my dad. They refer to themselves as my parents, but I only ever use his name, and use his name in conversation with others. We've had so much therapy together to try and find a way forward, so I'll call Dave Dad, but it's not going to happen. My siblings have called me out for calling him Dave a lot in the last 6 months. I told Mom she needed to talk to them and explain because I will if they didn't. She told me I'd never talk to them about it because it's not my place. So we ended up in a fight over it. I've pushed for the last several months, but I had enough. So 3 days ago they brought it up again, and the oldest told me I was being mean and rude and that we don't call our parents by their first names. So I set the older 3 down and told them, Dave is not my dad. My dad died, and my mom married Dave when she already had me. I even showed them a photo of my dad. They asked why I didn't call both dads. I said because I didn't want to. There was pushback on it, which Dave overheard. Then he and my mom got super angry. We fought. They said it wasn't my place and told me I had no right. My stuff was taken as a punishment, but I'm at a family member's house for a few days, and they're letting me use the internet again. So yeah, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Ask Dave if he dies, how quickly should his kids replace him? Ask your mom the same thing. Let's say she dies in a year. Can you call the next woman Dave Bang's mom? I'm sorry they won't respect your decision not to call your mother's husband Dad. It's 100% your business, and you didn't tell the kids any lies, so you didn't deserve to be punished. At some point, these kids will find out where babies come from. They will realize that babies are born 9 months after conception. They will learn that a man your mom did not even know when she had you cannot possibly be your dad. Then they'll wonder what else their parents are keeping from them. Do you acknowledge your dad's birthday? You should be able to celebrate him. Have these kids been to his grave? Your dad was important to you. It sounds like your mom would love for you to forget him as soon as she did.